Blog Talk Radio.
Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And in the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I see aspiring to be free. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Within and without, above and below, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. Without and within, below and above, yeah, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I find in tune with the divine. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. Restore the balance of the universal mind. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. For to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, holy angel of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. I sense your presence.
Thank you for joining me here tonight on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I am your hostess tonight. The music you were listening to at the beginning of the show is I Sense Your Presence. It's by Shemshai. And I just want to give a welcome to everybody that's here tonight, whether you're listening for the first time, whether you're returning and coming back because you've listened to previous shows with me. And here at Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, I look at different ways that compassion exists in our lives, how to remove our blocks, resistances, frustrations, and more. Some weeks I'm discussing different aspects of how compassion is in our life, how it affects our life, and the different areas of compassion. And then some weeks I'm discussing and doing more exercises and practical implementations. And then nights like tonight, I've got guests on the show. So we've got a very exciting show coming up tonight. And I just want to remind people here that we are not taking calls on this show. So if you had any questions, this is not going to be a show for that. So what I want to do is I just want to bring up a couple of things here. We're at the time of the spring equinox, and it's a natural time to be seeking unity, and unity of the self with others and with the divine. And it's a time of connecting after deep reflection, and it's a time of wanting to experience fully with all of our senses. And I think that this is so appropriate to the guests that we have tonight, because the guests that I have coming on tonight are with the Messengers event, which is a humongous, absolutely incredible event that's being put together. It's a multimedia event going on, and we're actually going to change our show up a little bit. Some of you are familiar with me doing the work of Yehuda Berg early on in the show with the 72 Names of God. We're actually going to wait and put that in after our guest tonight. And I'm just going to pose a couple of questions here, because with the Messengers event, it's really a bridging that's happening. It's a bridging of heaven and of earth, and it's a uniting, and it's a symbiotic relationship that's going on. And this particular event is a multimedia, total sensory immersion experience. And we're going to get into more about what that event is in just a minute when I bring our guests on tonight. And I just want to ask, is it possible to bridge heaven and earth? Are angels real, or are they just a metaphor for something? Can we truly connect with the divine? And it seems throughout man's existence there has been a desire to reach out and touch the divine, yet it is possible when we exist on different planes. Is there more to the concept of an angel besides being our guardians? Do they carry a bigger meaning or message? And as humans, we often wonder about the grand design or bigger picture to things. Compassion is one of the languages of divine, and it is a catalyst for us to experience the connection, and compassion is a language of the angels and the divine itself. However, as much as we turn inside for our answers, humans crave an external means for understanding the mysteries of the universe. And there seems to be a desire and a longing to know purpose. Thomas Christian Wolfe feels that archetypes and allegories were born to reveal the deeper meaning, to give us the keys to unlock the journey of life, and to provide us with a bridge between heaven, earth, and the individual psyche. And like I said, Thomas Christian Wolfe is our guest, and he's also got with him tonight Sophia Brawley. And we're going to be bringing them both on in a minute. Thomas's career spans over 3 decades with epic murals and paintings for the California Academy of Sciences, the Oakland Museum, Yellowstone Club, World's Emerald Cay, Private Island Estate, Kenny Loggins, Sony, Disney, DreamWorks, and others. We will be discussing his latest works in progress, the Messengers event. And you can find out more about this event at themessengersevent.com. And also, you want to check out their option to contribute and to see what's happening with this event through themessengersevent.com/Indiegogo. So those are two areas that you want to check out with them. And I'm going to go ahead and bring both Thomas and Sylvia on the air, get their mics opened up here. And Thomas, Sylvia, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
Great to
I'm
be
doing
here.
great, thanks. I appreciate you taking this time to be here tonight because I know you've been on the road traveling and your schedule is hectic, taking care of everything for the event. So it's a real pleasure to have you here tonight.
My pleasure, too.
And what I would like to start off with, Thomas, if you don't mind, is to give our listeners a little insight. Who is Thomas and how did this Messengers event come to be? Because this is big scale, incredible.
Okay, do we have about 3 hours or not? No, I'm just kidding.
Almost.
No. We actually, I can describe this briefly. Basically, I have been an artist my whole life, and I, specifically have been doing murals probably since my early 20s. And as of a couple of years ago, basically I had one of the top 10 mural companies in the world, did murals internationally, and mostly for museums and private estates or public situations. And the Messengers has been in seed form for about it's been many years. And 2 years ago, though, is when I took a leap of faith to stop working for some really great prestigious clients like DreamWorks, Sony, Disney, and the museums I mentioned. And I decided to take a leap of faith to do my own passion fully, because I have a lot to say spiritually, not just artistically. And I chose this idea that I had in seed form for a while. This is the first thing that came to me intuitively to just go for this. I wanted to dedicate the rest of my life. 2 years ago, I made that decision to just dedicate it to things that assisted transformation on the planet. And it was a leap of faith, even though I had a great day job doing murals around the world. There was nothing wrong with my day job. It was taking this leap of faith that really put me in a place where I felt I was on purpose with myself in a way that's hard to describe with words. It's just no comparison for the career I had up to that point. And it's been quite a journey. It's basically the Messengers event is a journey. Like you said, people go to it. It's an immersive experience. It's more than just something coming at you. Even as incredible as movies like Avatar or Life of Pi, a lot of very conscious movies are, it still is somewhat something coming at you, and you don't feel like you're part of it. This event is specifically designed to have the viewer feel integrated into it, feeling like a part of it. Basically, you go through the journey and you realize this is about my life. And that's our challenge, to create that. So that's our focus. But, the Bardic Tale, just to hit on a few things you said, using the Bardic Tale has been done all through time. And I feel like it's past the guards. We're doing it in a very universal fashion. We're doing it it transcends all religions and ideologies. It's to hit on a core human level, basically. And it's multimedia to hit all the senses. It's music. It's made of basically a triumvirate of art, which is what it centers around, these 12 big epic-sized murals. And then it has music, and then it has prose. So that's basically the triumvirate of creative aspects that make up this event. And let me think, what else can I say? I kind of wanted to cover this overview for you. But what were you going to ask?
I was going to say, I think, too, for people to kind of grasp this aspect, when we're talking about the art and we're talking about the music and I think people think they sit down in a theater and maybe sense surround or something like that, but we're talking huge scale art pieces. We're talking museum quality art pieces here, and we're not talking just like music playing out of a sound system. We're talking a full-on orchestra.
Right.
So,
well, let me talk about the details of that, and luckily we have time here, so we'll cover a lot of the details so everybody, the listeners, will really understand what this is. And it's a little complicated, and to be honest, I'm so immersed in it. I just am in this 24/7, and sometimes it's hard for me to just coin it, But luckily we have time to do this because it is it's a bit detailed. But to detail what you just said, it does center around the murals. There's 12 murals. They're about 10 feet tall. They're about 20 to 25 feet wide, and they curve. So when you come up to look at it, it's like when you go to a museum like in Europe or just some prestigious museum where the paintings are really huge. These murals are awesome in size so that the figures in them, which are a very key part of all these murals, is the figures in them are bigger than life size, and the murals being curved kind of envelops the viewer, and there's surround sound, so there's sound too. The murals are also moving a little, which I'll have to explain that more later, but it basically creates an emotional experience when you're looking at the murals. You're hearing narration and the music, and the imagery is moving. And it's done to, as you did a mention to this, it's done to the full-on classical mastery level on the execution level. And then on the other end of the extreme, it's done in the most modern technology possible. It's only been done once before last year in a Van Gogh exhibit. And the same group that did that is working with our group now. And so it's very cutting edge. It's like that's why it's called unprecedented. It really is kind of a new experience for an art exhibit, and it can't really be minimized to an art exhibit. It's more of an experience, as you said. But as far as exhibits go, it's very original, very unique. And you go through these 12 murals, and you come out the other end, and pretty much you have experience of the human journey. It's pretty much what we call it, the human journey.
And that's an interesting concept to me, that it really is this journey and this movement through. And I think that to try to begin to put it into perspective, and I think it's hard to do that based on the scale you're doing that, but it's kind of like when an actor is sitting there and they're in a movie set and they feel that character and they feel like they are really who they're portraying, and yet that doesn't even begin to create the experience that you're creating here. As you said, you're using various things. I know you're using film industry matte on the scenes, right? And you've used green screens and underwater photography to help create some of the images and to start to develop from those. So you're using a lot of very top-of-the-line techniques here.
It's pretty much everything that's done for the most high-end special effect movie, like Lord of the Rings, Avatar, whatever it's used, from the red cameras and red video cameras to green screens, and even in our situation we do underwater shooting to create the as you call angels, angelic ones, which I think are more just divine representations of divinity. To have that gravity-less effect, we did that. We're doing that underwater. Can I explain what the order of things here? You want me to jump in and do that right now? Cause what people want is basically
you're breaking up on me.
An exhibit. What's that?
You were breaking up just a little bit there.
Okay. Just to repeat that. Basically, to simplify it, it's an exhibit, and it's an exhibit of 12 murals, and the way they are laid out, the way it definitely creates an experience the way it's produced. But the music you mentioned is piped in Dolby sound with narration, quietly on each mural, so you can go from mural to mural and you don't really hear the sound from the mural before. But how the music comes in is at the opening night. Let's say the show's for a month, it'll be launching in San Francisco, and when it plays there maybe for a month, all day long, the first weekend at least, if not every weekend, there's live performances in the theater part of the venue that we'd use. So you see the whole live performance with incredible guests. I mean, it's world-class performance. It's incredible. And there's always going to be, the local, really known talent coming into spot, some spot musicians. And that's what happens at each show. It's going to travel then from city to city ad infinitum all around the world. And it gives a very large percentage to charity, too, as it travels around the world. So that's how the music comes in, and that's how it relates to the event. So they're kind of separate, but they're connected. The event, the music happens in the evening to launch, to premiere each city it launches in, and you get to hear the whole soundtrack basically for the event performed in its full, its full level, and that's incredible too in itself.
It really. Then, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
And the thing that I wanted to mention too is that we've been building this for a while. It's very close to going into full production for anywhere from 8 months to 14 months, and then it will launch. Now, during this production phase that'll happen very soon, like within a month maybe, that early, everything's poised, ready to go. The website, everything's created across the globe in 6 different languages to start with, and there'll be more added soon. And there's teams on every level all organized, ready to go. And we're basically bringing the funding in now is what we're doing to go full force in the production level. When that full-on begins within about a month to 2 months, the global community, as the current one that's already been, we've gained quite a big amount of a global community already, and it's going to be growing every month. The global community will be able to watch a behind-the-scenes making of this event. So it's a very transparent view of the trials and triumphs of basically following our passion to do something that is really powerful for the planet. And, pretty much everyone that's been involved has been going through their own mythic journey, just dedicating to doing this project. So the world's going to get to see that and right up to it happening. Just like on DVDs, when you see in a movie, it has the bonus feature of the making of the movie. Ours will be every bit as, exciting to watch this stuff happening. And plus it'll have interviews and talks with on these monthly episodes that will, the viewers, the listeners will be able to get the deeper meanings of what's gone into this event and how extensively we've applied, our creativity and spiritual knowledge to this event. And so that's the basic layout of what's happening. And
I just find it amazing. I mean, it's stunning, the experience that you're creating here, and for people to be able to follow this event from behind the scenes and to see all of these things that are developing as you go along, I think it's just an incredible way to bring everybody in and to keep them. You bring them into that experience that way, and then you can hold them there, and they can just continue to grow and develop and see this progress as it goes along.
Yeah, we're really trying to talk to the entire human experience. So it makes sense that we want to weave people in right from the beginning so that everybody feels like they're a part of even the production, not just the experience of being there. And so there's a real excitement about how can we help to convey the oneness of humanity, because we have so many different ways that we live in the world, so many different, so many countries, so many religions, so many, all the ways that we believe that we're divided. But when it comes down to it, there is a shared experience that we have. And this is what we're really trying to convey. And inside of that, to bring people together, not only to understand our oneness, but how can we assist each other and alleviate suffering in humanity so that we can all have a better life and work with that compassion. So this is, yes, it's art, yes, it's music, yes, it's prose, but it's really about how can we love each other or be more connected in this compassionate way for what it is to be human.
And that's such a great point that you're bringing up too, Sylvia. And I know that part of the focus with this event is archetypes and allegories, and it's very interesting because I'm working on a book now that's dealing with some archetypes in it that's based on relationships. But it's we take on these different roles and we relate to these different roles, and it's these very allegories and these very archetypes, and whether it's angels or however they're coming through, that inspire us on our own path, inspire us to bring out our own message, and that, as you were bringing out this unity factor, that we really are all messengers in our own way. And I think this event's really going to be triggering that messenger aspect in people.
Exactly, bringing the divine up in each person, like becoming the manifestation of your highest iteration, if you will. How can we all honor our hardships, but then also see where our grace is and experience our grace. And I think that the language of archetype, it does speak to all of us in one way or another, because that's the wonderful thing about those blueprints is there's a universality to it, and that's potent.
Yeah. I could add in here that some of my own philosophy, which obviously goes into this event, is that we never were separate from divinity. It's just a perception. So, it's reaching a core place, like we talk about, of the human experience. It's beyond all religion. It includes all religion, but it's not any one religion. It's not even New Age, for example. It's just human experience. And my personal belief is we never left divinity. It's not like we're trying to reach to find something that we aren't already. And so the event is basically, it's our humble way to try to inspire that realization that it already is here, and in an experiential way, so it can hit home. That's the beauty of telling things in allegory. I came up with a name. I feel like I need to describe that this is about allegory to some degree, but really it's about integration. I've honestly almost thought of changing the name as this has grown and evolved organically. It's become so clearly what it's supposed to be, but I still honor the original name that I had, the messengers, because the archetypes, as Sylvia said, it's a language of universality. It's using the code of language or the code of symbol to connect us in a universality way. But I see it kind of as if you just see consciousness going from divine awareness to the human experience, it's like the archetypes are kind of like the footprints going to the human experience. So they're always there. It's like the chicken or egg concept. You never really left it. You're not going back to it. And yet in the sense of time and space, it's like their footsteps that were left to follow back home again. So we can find our way back home again. And so the archetypes, as far as archetypes go, I picked angel because angel, out of all archetypes, is the closest to human. And they are, when you even look at the deepest definitions of angel, they are the liaison between humanity and divinity. That's pretty much how they're described. So in the murals, to get down to the detail of what we're seeing, we're actually seeing humanity in the form of humans and angels, which is representation of divinity, and they're also intertwined in a way that's it just gives a sense of them integrating. It's almost like you see the human side of angels and the virtuous side of humanity, and they start marrying each other, like the yin-yang symbol or something. And so I'm using human form to have us be able to identify with it, just like how in movies there's a character that we take the journey through. We experience the journey through a character in a movie, whether it's the never-ending story or the crippled guy in Avatar or whatever. And so I have humans that go through every stage, this 12-stage experience, 12 murals, and it's actually relative to things that it's not original. I mean, these have been coined by Joseph Campbell as the hero's journey, and Dante had it in the Divine Comedy, and masters through all time have taught through parables. So the story is, like C.S. Lewis says, story exists to reveal basically this divine aspect, and has to be, grokked by the intuition and not the intellect. And that's why telling it in story form is good, because it tends to go past the intellect, and it helps us integrate it more. In the past, we've heard kind of as children or even longer ago, stories were followed by, and the moral of the story is, it's almost like we've lost that a little. We don't, but this kind of brings back the moral of all story. That's what the messengers is saying. The messengers, getting back to the name, the messengers are those footprints. They come through our symbols, as Jung would talk about. They come through story. I think they come through all of life's experience. If we learn to see life differently, we see that all of our lives are nothing less exceptional as the most exciting blockbuster film. When you really just take the dive into the journey of your life, it's phenomenal. And we're the event basically is presenting these concepts, how to see life in a different way and realize the perfection of life. It's always been here, and even change our view of challenge and things that we might run from normally, start to get a whole new perspective. I could talk forever on this, but trying to give an idea where the name came from, and the name and how we're seeing archetypes. It's not really just, I'm not really on a controversial subject here about whether angels are real, whether they have wings or not. They just happen to be the representation in this show for divinity. That's the way I like to see it more.
And I think that's good, because what we think of angels or what we think of different archetypes is always a little bit different in everybody's mind, and they have these visions, they have these ideas, and really these pictures. It's just, no matter whether it's angels or it's other aspects of mythology or anywhere else, it's our human need to have it in a way that we can visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's unique for each of us in a way. You're right. It's in every religion, even every culture has some form of angelic symbol. So it's really not. I don't want people to get caught up in. We're making the angels and the humans cross cultures. That's one of our concerns. We don't want this to just be an Americano event. We want it to be. We want it to touch all humanity. So we've had a challenge with how to even present it so it stays universal. But I want the focus. One of the challenges is the focus not to be on, whether the difference is how we might all see angels. Even the way we paint the angels, we want them to just stay universal, so that it's not about the outer trapping. It's about the representation. So
and I love that, because I love that focus is integration. And you had mentioned something, Thomas, in regards to that God force is within all of us. That divinity is within all of us. And this is something that I've been touching on throughout my shows recently, actually, that it really truly is. It's actually coded there in the DNA of our bodies, and they've actually found where it's coded these days. So there's actually proof that, yes, it's within us. And it's that piece, it's that divinity that connects all of us. So having the show with this focus in that area, and in the area of it integrating us, because it is the one thing that truly does bring an integration to humanity.
Well, science, and just like science and spirit finally merging, because we wouldn't exist physically if divinity wasn't underneath it all. It's kind of like the electricity that makes the light shine. Electricity is invisible, but it makes the light shine. You pull the plug out of the wall, the light will pop out. You take spirit out of any matter, it'll cease to exist. So it's proved in science, and we actually see ourselves more as spiritual scientists, to be honest. It's we're not so much religious as much as scientists, and a lot of the stuff that goes into this project has been heavily researched using science to placate the intellectually focused of the viewers. I'm that way myself. Actually, I'm very pragmatic. So while on one hand reaches up to heaven to understand the deepest mysteries of the universe, the other hand is solidly, into the earth like the roots of a tree. I'm pragmatic in my spirituality. I believe they are inseparable. To me, it's not even a question in my mind.
Another piece that's about the pragmatic aspect is just that there's the wonder of the event and what all that's about, but another pragmatic aspect is, yes, we're having this human experience by seeing this event, but part of the goal is to raise money for charity, so that, we're making actual changes in the world with this work that's effective and make things happen. It's not just, oh, that was a nice event and the world goes on. This is a way that we can contribute to the betterment of humankind, and that people who come and want to, they put their money down for it. They're not only putting their money down for their experience, but for the betterment of the experience of all people.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're inadvertently, giving to charity, whether they know it or not. Basically, we have a lot of products designed in the folds of this, and it wasn't to make money for ourselves, it was to make money for the charity aspect. So we have no qualms about making as much money as we can. We create incredibly high-quality museum-level products and things. So like Sylvia's saying, they're buying a ticket, or they're buying a glass paperweight made in Italy with a feather embossed in the bottom or whatever. Everything's beautiful, and they're getting more than their money's worth as far as I'm concerned. But we take a large chunk of that and put it towards charity, because that's really honestly one of our biggest focuses, is this charitable aspect. It's to walk the talk, as Gandhi said so eloquently, that be the change we want to see. So we're, in that sense, we're bringing spirit and science together, just in the sense of spirit and materiality. We're making something effective in the world, while we're also talking about these deep, beliefs and new perceptions to share with the world.
And I think that's an incredible thing, because especially in today's society, where so many people, they come out with maybe something really big and large. Not very many people make it to the scale or the level that you're doing this event, but that put it out there, and it's not going back out to help charity anywhere. It's a lot of it's personal gain. Whereas with this event, as you say, they can come in, they get this amazing experience. They have different things that they can purchase that are related to the event to remind them, whether that's T-shirts or CDs or whatever it is. And then that money, also a big chunk of it, goes right back out to different groups and organizations to help. And so it's just like it's a gift that keeps on giving over and over and over to multitudes of people.
Exactly. You got it. Yeah, definitely.
So that's an exciting thing as well. So when people are partaking of this and they're following this journey with you, and it really is that journey aspect. Now, I also understand, Thomas, that once the original tour is finished, and I do want to touch base just so people kind of know all the different cities you're going to be touching on in this tour, starting in San Francisco, and then there's Milan, Italy, there's Vienna, Austria, there's London, Paris, Sydney, and then it finishes in New York City. Is that correct?
Oh, it's we're not finalizing the tour yet. It's basically any major city in the world. There's no real limit to it, honestly.
Okay.
There's it's the main thing we know is we're going to start in San Francisco, unless that changes for some reason. That's about the size of it. It would make sense to take it to the next nearest city. Go L.A., Seattle, Salt Lake City. Working its way over to New York, Miami, then heading over to UK, London, Milan, etc. Wrap all the way around to Australia. There's another possibility that we can do more than one event at a time too, because most of the thrust of this next year to launch the first initial premiere event at the end of 2013 or beginning of 2014, whenever it happens. Most of the thrust, all the thrust now is to build the content. Once that's built, it's just representing it. As we travel around the world, it's just representing it, which is a little, it's minimal as far as energy and costs once the main event's created. And the idea is to honestly, I'd love it to be playing more than one city at a time, and just cover as many cities as possible. Because I think the event, just looking at it objectively, especially with I didn't mention, there's in just the last year, there's gained about 100 people that span the globe that are dedicating their creative mastery to this project and make up all the teams that are needed. And it's just amazing how much has come to this project. It's like a vision whose time has come. And it's going to be traveling around and just hitting as many cities as we can. And the thing I wanted to mention too is that we're really integrating, as we talked about, people in the global community being able to watch the making of it. We're doing the Indiegogo campaign, which is actually being, shepherded, or it's being led by Dan Hollings, which I didn't mention, who was the marketing genius behind The Secret, and he really recognized, he felt a real inspiration with this project when I had contacted him about a year ago, and he joined in basically as a partner. And he's doing Indiegogo campaign that starts, which you mentioned to everybody, the www.themessengersevent.com/Indiegogo, which is INDIE and then GOGO, is a campaign that's not started yet. So actually nobody will see anything right now, but if they note it, that domain name down, or just join the best yet, just join go to the website, themessengersevent.com, and join, and you'll get notified once the campaign starts. But that's where we would love everybody's support. I see it as a world event created by the world. That's my dream. I don't want to sell it to, not to be critical or anything, but I don't want to sell the event to venture capitalists, I guess you'd say, where they're just doing it for their personal gain and trying to get money out of the thing, because it will be successful. There's no doubt. But whereas if we do like Indiegogo campaigns, or people go to the site and just become global members, and every month they'll see new things offered. There's always going to be a free item, always an item for $1, and always something for a little bit more than that. And so you can just be a global member for free and watch these episodes for free. All you're giving is your email address, and it's totally safe with us. We're just having event-related news come once in a while, not even a lot, and it just keeps people abreast of what's happening. And also, everybody being there, there's bound to be people buying some of the things that we will offer in our downloads store area. But these ways help us. It's not a lot to do this event. It actually is a surprisingly low amount of money. It's under $1 million. But the global campaign, the Indiegogo campaign, may well bring that all in. And it starts in about, 2 weeks maybe, ideally. We'll start the campaign. It'll go for 45 days. So anyway, if people join, that's the best thing. Join the website, and then you'll get a notice from us when we're launching it. And then if everyone just tells everybody they know to tell everybody they know, and create that beautiful viral effect that's great with Facebook and all that. And we'll see if we can just make this happen with all of us as a global community, make this event happen. And then we're helping something happen that will basically be helping the world. So that's something I wanted to mention about this particular time right now, is to finally come out of the closet with this event, which we just did, and now reach out to the world to help us make this come alive ourselves. We're going to do this ourselves for the global community.
And I love that you're staying away from the venture capitalists on this. And
they're okay. They can come watch. We'll let them sit down and watch.
I think that it's so good because it's inspiring to other people that have a dream and have a vision out there. And you're such an inspiration for people who want to do something on this huge, large scale. Sounds like I'm coming from another country there.
Sound like Gomer.
Scale. Sounds like I'm coming from the South or something now. But it's an inspiration to the people that have these dreams and visions, because you've been building this all the way and having this type of campaign. And I want to emphasize, knowing some of the people that you have on here, that it's not like you're sitting there paying all these really high salaries to people to work on this project. You actually have most of your people volunteering their time to make this project happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jesse. We have about 100 people that make up all the teams needed. It may be more than that when you consider the teams that are under the people, each of these people. But I ask as little. I'm a type that likes to do everything I can myself, and it's hard for me to ask for much. But this is it's an endeavor that is way beyond one person, and it came through me to do it. I do have the expertise to overview the vast amount of areas that are required to do something this vast. But I definitely wouldn't take on executing all of it. I will, as a worker bee in this project, I will move more to the painting of the murals and have people like Kurt Bester, which you're going to mention, and Felicia Farrar, who are world-class, Emmy Award-winning. Like Kurt Bester, if you go to KURT, Bester, B, like boy, ESTOR.com, you can see Kurt Bester's music. He creates music that takes you around the world, crosses all cultures. His music is incredible. It's not just totally classical, and it's not totally modern. It's just this beautiful blend. It's just a universal music, touches your heart. And that's perfect for this event. His music is perfect for this event. And Felicia Farrar has been considered the voice of mythology. She's been on a lot of movies a lot of us have seen, but we didn't know the name behind the voice. We just heard it in the trailers or in certain parts of movies. Her voice is impeccable, and it just she sings with so much emotion and feeling, so much vulnerability, and the people gathered for this are specifically for the power they bring on the deepest level. They have notoriety, and they have, and they have their talents down, their chops down, but it's really the quality of who they are as beings that have brought these people together. And to get back to the point, you said, there are some that I can't do it alone. So while I'm not activating the whole team of 100, there is a team, like you said, that have been right by my side for definitely the last year, and I couldn't have taken it this far without them. And they're incredible. And they'll, right now we're going to get the funding. My intention is to bring the funding in the next month or two, and then we activate the whole team at that point. That's when it gets really fun and exciting.
And it's great, and I know that, again, I want to mention Felicia's music because it is so beautiful. And if people go to your website, www.themessengersevent.com, which I also typed into our chat area, they'll hear some of that music on the website. And
right, it's on the website.
It's touching, and it's stunning, and it just goes right into your heart, right into that little divine peace within us when you listen to it, and it's just incredible.
And to have that epic aspect, when you have music and images that are larger than life, it has the power to move people on a deeper level because it's really speaking to the grandness of creation and of our own spirit, of the human spirit.
Well, and it does. I mean, we can just look at it. I mean, it would be the difference of taking your iPhone out and trying to watch a movie on that versus having a full wall screen TV versus what you're doing, which is
right.
That total immersion. And as we know, music has such a powerful impact on us. Visual images have such a powerful impact on us. So the combination of the art, the music, the prose that you've brought together and doing that on a scale that we really can immerse in is touching on that deep core level. It's kind of that difference between whether you spend weeks and weeks and days going around and looking at art museums or whether you step into something and the rest of the world disappears, which is what's happening with your project.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's the dream here, that we can create that. I mean, we're putting total focus into just that. It's like I used to describe it. It's kind of it's being done to the level that it's such high level of execution that it takes concepts and ideas that would be considered maybe unreal and makes them more, the power of doing it that way makes it more believable so that you're not noticing brush strokes or anything. At this point, you're lost into the motion of what's being conveyed. And then secondly, it's done to the huge scale that it's awe-striking in that as well, which also adds to you, especially with the curved screens and them moving on top of that you actually feel a part of it. And thirdly, it's not just great paintings done epic size, but there's a message in it. There's a definite, distinctive story in each mural, in each painting you see. So even when I look at some of the best people, because I've taught for years, and I've done mural company for years, and the best painters that I study from, while they might have the most incredible execution, a lot of paintings of the classical past are telling one story, or there may be romantic or decorative or something done incredibly, impeccably well, but this event's really focusing on the story, the message being given. So it's not just a pretty picture of angels and humans intertwining, but there's a distinctive story. So it's really, all I can say is just major intention put into this, just the top level and borrowing from all of time. So, yeah. I'm excited.
How does it feel then, Thomas, to have all of these people step forward and say, I believe in you, I believe in what you're doing, and I want to see this manifest beyond what you've imagined?
It touches me most when I do things like radio shows and I hear you talk. I even hear Sylvia talk or someone on the team, and just sit back and listen, and I go, whoa. I mean, there's times it just hits me, but, most of the time I'm like the mad scientist. My head's just wrapped into it, completely focused, and I do, I said 2 years ago I dedicated my life to what could transform the world. I'm not a kind of painter that just paints when I'm in the mood for it and slap a bunch of painting. It has to do with the mood I'm in that day. Slap a bunch of painting on a canvas for how I'm feeling that day. My work is completely transcending me as an individual. I'm always saying to my team, this isn't the Thomas Christian Wolfe show. And if people are coming to it, they're supporting the vision I came up with, but they're really here because they're serving the vision just like I am.
And I'd want to speak to the other side of that as being someone who's on the team and being asked to be on it. And wow, what an incredible honor, what an incredible opportunity to not only work my craft, but to be able to dedicate that to human transformation, to the well-being of humanity. I'm just so grateful every day we get to work on anything. Every time we're talking about it, it's wow. I think that a lot of people are really struck by the suffering of the world, by the hardship, and there can be a sense of powerlessness about it that I think is really debilitating. And to have a way to touch on transformation and to make a difference that comes from beauty, from art, from coming together is such a grace.
Yeah, and that's why. I mean, it's a beautiful question you're asking. It's sweet of you to ask that, but it's not. I think me and everybody involved. It's not about us anymore. It's so beyond us that we're actually in awe to be at service of this. And I feel there's a humbleness about it. Nobody really has a self-focus about it. If I get self-focused about it, I would diminish the power of it, honestly, because it's about tapping into the connection we all have. And I think the world has suffered from going the other way and getting too much into our individuation or whatever you call it. And even the people that are powerful in that individuated state, they're sucking power more towards them. And the people that are hurting, they're feeling isolated. And I'm not. That's what the event is about. The total antithesis of that. It's about unity. So that kind of nips it in the bud for me doing a big me show on this one. It's really not going to be about me, It kind of took that. I made that dedication 2 years ago. I said, okay, God, just pour it through me. And this is what came through seconds later, do the messengers. And I went, okay, got my first God description. So that's what I've been doing every day.
Well, and I think a piece that's so exciting here with this is that I hear it a lot on a day-to-day basis from people. How do I get in touch with the divine? How do I get in touch with the spirit? How do I make this connection with my guides? And this event gives people that opportunity to make that connection.
That's what I'm hoping.
So that kind of, and I want to be respectful of your time because I know your time is limited here with us tonight, but I really want to kind of maybe sum this up a little bit tonight with what impact do you hope that the Messengers event will have on people?
In my highest dreams, that will all lay down our weapons and completely merge as one family of man. And anything near that will be great. If this event takes us one step towards that, I'll be so happy. That's all I can tell you. I'm just doing my part. Like I said, when I dedicated to this, I basically was doing what I think every one of us has an option to do, which is to follow the God coming through us as us. Because if we're existing, we're an eye of God, we are a piece of God, or we would not be existing. And so we all have the option to trust that life has a perfect order to it, and that to go into the full experience of life is about commitment to believing that's what coming through you is perfect, and it's your, like I said, your God description. And by me doing it, I can convey this. I believe that we can't convey anything with any power unless we're doing it ourselves. So this last 2 years, like I said, I've been on an incredible journey that's incomparable to my life up till now, because I am following the passion coming through me, God coming through me as me. And that's why, just to get to the final point here, that's why I decided the last few months, it's a new decision about 3 months ago, that we'd make this, people see it transparently, because they would see by our actions what it is to just follow your passion. Every one of us can do. Every one of us can do this.
And the thing is that, compassion as an emotional state is a beautiful thing. We are really excited about compassion in action. Not only the actions that we do to produce it, but the actions that it might inspire in others. So just to create an opportunity to not only have spiritual aspirations or, being the best person we can be, but then how do we bring that out to the world in concrete ways that make pragmatic change?
And I think that's a great point too, Sylvia, is because it's that bringing it out into concrete ways that we start to really manifest that heaven on earth.
Yeah, I think, not to negate laws of attraction, but I think I'm more into the action part of the attraction. I think I'd like to start a new movement called the laws of action, because laws of attraction is still about, what you think you're missing. And to me, it's an illusion, because we're not really missing anything. That's an illusion to me. So I would rather focus on giving. I think contribution, one of our writers is not here tonight. She's in England, and she wasn't able to make this time frame, but she focuses a lot on this. You'll probably be able to read a lot of her columns when you're on the site as a member. You'll get to see some articles and stuff by Adele Mahoney. And, she's really in the contribution, that actually we bring ourselves closer to divine realization in contributing more than thinking of what we're going to gain, and pull into us that we think we're missing. It's more about you actually fill your vessel more by giving. That's my personal belief. So we're living that in this event, basically.
And I think that's great. And I can't even imagine being in your shoes at this point. I'm getting a little taste of it here, but being in your shoes, just totally immersed in this whole creation process, it's incredible. And I notice just in the little piece that I'm involved in, it's amazing. It's an experience that's opening, and I can feel every time I sat down to work on things for you, Thomas, that in this piece of it, my heart's opening, and I'm getting another awakening and another awareness there. And I'm sure that that's very true of the many people that are involved. And even though I won't name everybody, we've got, as we mentioned, Felicia Ferreira, and she's co-directing as well as other roles on this project. Kurt Bester, who's music director. Christian Isolde Newman, director of marketing. Jeff Bedrick, media director. Olivia Hansen is on there. And I hope I pronounce names correctly for people. Ana Frost, Christian Isolde Newman is on some things. Adele, you mentioned Adele O'Mahony. Jeff Broderick, and yourself. And then, of course, Sylvia, who's with us tonight, Brallier. And so, and there's many others, as you've mentioned on there. And I think, again, I'm going to let you share with everybody about Indiegogo, where they can go for that, and your website, and any other contact or information you want them to have.
Well, I'd say what I realize is we're doing this show just a little before the campaign's going out. So I think the best thing, because a lot of times, people are more in the moment about things and may not remember to go to Indiegogo, but tonight you can go, right after the show or now or whenever, while we're even doing the show, you can go to www.themessengers, plural. You have to put in the first, THE, and then you have it written, didn't you say that, Jesse?
I did. I put it into our chat area.
Yeah, okay, but it's The Messengers Event. Yeah, it's themessengersevent.com, and if you just go hit the join button at the top right, which is gold colored, and just join, that's the best way, because you'll get a little bulletin, and you have to make sure that that address is accepted, or however you do that in your inbox, so that it won't get thrown in the spam. And you get a free desktop too when you do it. When you join, you get a free desktop, and from then on, every month we do a new desktop. All members just automatically get sent that, the new one, so they'll get always every new desktop that we put out ever. But that's the best way, because then you'll get alerted when we do the Indiegogo campaign in a couple weeks. And we'd love your support, and pass it around on Facebook, and any way you can help do your part, because every single person can really make a difference. Every single person that passes on to someone else, you're helping make this event happen. And it doesn't even need too much. This event can really happen. Just a big handful of us just jump in there and help. It'll launch it, and then it'll have a life of its own at that point.
Just want to reach out to all the listeners out there and say, yes, this is an opportunity for you to participate in this, and we would love to have you along with us on this incredible journey that we're all on. And I just hope that it is able to touch you in a way that helps you to feel more alive in your human experience and more activated to be compassion in action while we're working on it, while it's out and beyond.
Yeah, we're even going to add to that it just, Sylvia reminded me here, that we're going to have more than you just seeing what's going on behind the scenes, which is going to be exciting to be a part of that. And that way you also will be able to communicate with us. We'll have a two-way connection so that people can actually contribute things that, if we deem it doesn't fit in, obviously we wouldn't use it, but beautiful things come out of people sharing, and people may be throwing in ideas that they're inspired if they just you take that freedom to just share it and not censor it. You never know what's going to come in and be just a great aha on our end of the creators here. Because, even as the team leader or whatever you want to call me, I've always said to my team, when anyone comes up with a better idea, that's what we follow. Because it's like I said, it's not serving me, it's serving the vision. Whatever makes that vision become fuller and fuller. I don't think any one of us has it all. We need to work more as community. That's actually, at this point in our existence, we have to survive even as a species. And so we're living that, we're walking that talk. But I just really want to, reiterate that we that you will actually be able to be involved, and your contributions, even in ideas, will definitely be heard and considered. So you're literally becoming a member by joining, and that's what I wanted to say there.
And that's exciting. I mean, how often do people get that opportunity to participate and give their input while it's being created? And I think that is a very smart thing to do on your part, because people have all these different eyes. You've got tons of different eyes checking for you, looking at what's going on, and they may see something that, as you said, maybe would just be that extra little piece. How many times do we have somebody that looks at something we're doing from an outside perspective and goes, if you just did this little thing, or if you just added a little more of that, and it can just continue to make it grow. And I guess two more things I would like to bring up, that once the touring part of the show is kind of so-called finished, that's really not the end of the Messengers event, because it's going to keep going and it's going to keep growing with ongoing things happening. I know you're looking at having a radio show going on, and that will be part of things that are going on. I know Adele has been working on some music things, or has some plans for music things even after the event goes through. So it's not like this is just a one-shot thing. It's going to keep growing and developing, and there's going to be more branches coming off of this project.
Yeah,
we don't even know.
Point.
We don't even know what all it is yet. It's just gonna evolve itself.
We have some ideas. There's actually there'll be cruises planned where some of the key people involved on the ideology will be speaking, and be exciting, fun things like that. But you're right, though. It's a good point to bring up. There'll be a lot of offshoots, because it's just like a web going across the planet. Just every way it can, like Sylvia said, we're just open to how it wants to organically evolve. We don't see any limits on it, but of course we're staying focused on one step at a time, and bringing the live event out first, and then as that has success, then that will lead how it goes from there. But the idea is that it'll just keep traveling around the world, and everything else that comes from it, we're just wide open for it. We're getting ready for the tsunami, spiritual tsunami, we call it.
That could be a good thing. Here we are, and I felt so fortunate to be doing this show at this time, because we just had the spring equinox, and then they just had, I don't know, it was like a comet or a meteorite that went right into D.C. tonight, right before the show.
Wow.
So the energy is definitely activated out there, and it's definitely coming around, and I think that it's just such an exciting thing to watch, and I hope that everybody will go and join on your site there, and that they'll share that with others. And people may think, I don't have a lot to give, I don't have $100 or $10,000 or whatever it is to give, but any piece of it helps, because when everybody's contributing a little bit, then we end up with a lot that we can end up sharing with everyone.
Exactly. I'll tell you right now, it's about 1 million, less than 1 million, but let's just say it's 1 million to round it off to a number. That's only 1 million people putting in $1. So if you're one person putting in $1, you have made a difference to 1/1,000,000th of making this project happen. And Indiegogo, if anyone knows Indiegogo or Kickstarter, there's gift areas from donation amounts that go from $1 to $5 to $25 to $50 to $100. It's just whatever anyone feels they want to do. But even any contribution, even just telling your friends, even if you didn't even have $1, I mean, there's ways everybody can make a difference, and it's a finite number. It's not like an endless hole here. There's a certain amount that it will hit, and then we have enough to do the event. And nobody needs to worry about what they can do. And even just telling one person has already done something. So it's just see if you're inspired and just follow your heart from there.
And that sharing really is an important thing, because I see that with a lot of things around the web, that even in that sharing, you never know, it might just be the right time that it hits somebody, and somebody out there in your set of connections, it reaches and it touches, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed at this moment. This is exactly the thing that I need to connect with.
And if there was ever a right time for an event like this is it, don't you think? With the state of the world and this turning point that we're at a nexus, and we need to step forward into something new. And what better way?
I so agree, Sylvia. It really is, and I think so many people are needing and wanting this experience that's being offered through the Messengers event. Very much so.
Mm.
I'm happy to have you.
You were going to ask 2 questions. You're going to ask me 2 questions. Did you have another question?
I had it in there already, which was what impact did you hope the Messengers event would have on people? Right. So we did get that in. Okay. Yeah. And I'm happy to let you keep going and talking as much as you want, but I love time as well.
Well, I love you leading. You're hitting all the good points that I probably wouldn't have remembered if you didn't bring them up. So, yeah. And you don't have callers tonight, right? So people aren't.
Correct. There's no callers tonight.
And if anyone wants to check in with us, they can feel free to write us directly. When you go to the site, you can just throw in comments on the contact area.
Okay, so that's going to be great. Again, there's so many incredible people involved. We've got the site that's there, the music that's there. I just can't really emphasize it enough for people to go in and check those things out and to share what's happening here, because to be a part of this experience, and that's what it really is, it's an experience, and to be a part of this integration of humanity is going to be a gift that you can't put into words. It's going to be a gift that is going to touch and open that divinity within each of us. And as you say, Thomas, it's already there. People wonder, how do I get it? How do I get it? But it's already there. And we know that it's already there when we get experiences like the Messengers event, because you feel that heart space opening, you feel it moving through you, and you go, yes. Simply yes.
Simply yes. I like that.
It's been a delight to be on your show tonight. Thank you so much for creating space for us to talk about this amazing experience that we're all taking part in.
I really appreciate it, and like I said, I know you're coming right off of traveling, and it's a real pleasure. And Thomas, I look forward to staying in touch with you and doing what I can to help you continue to take this further and to manifest this in the way that you want and more.
Thank you so much. Totally appreciate that, Jessie.
I appreciate it. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back. We've been talking about the Messengers event with Thomas Christian Wolfe, and we've also had on with us tonight Sylvia Brolier, who is also working on the Messengers event. And I'm thanking them for their time at this point. We're going to take a break, and then we will be back. The song that I have for you tonight for our break is by Claire Hedin. It is called Dreaming with Wings. You might have remembered Claire. She was on our show back in December, finishing up a series of shows that we did about the emergence that was coming up, starting with 12/12. And her music's absolutely beautiful. If you enjoy what you're hearing here, go ahead and check out our website at clairehedin.com. That's CLAREHEDIN.com. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Listening for an answer. Listening for a sign. Traveling to the future.
Welcome back. You are listening to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George. I'm your hostess here, and I just want to touch base with those of you that might have just been joining us or that came in a little bit late. We were discussing the Messengers event this evening, and that is an event that was started by Thomas Christian Wolfe, and has developed. It's got an entire team of people. It is a amazing multi-sensory experience show that is being put on. It is going to be traveling nationwide, and we were discussing quite a bit how you'll be able to follow that show all the way through the process, all the way through what's happening from the creation process, where you'll actually be able to be involved with what is happening along the way, provide input, and you can do that by going to their website, which is themessengersevent.com, and up on the upper right-hand corner is a button that you just click Join, and that's going to allow you to follow in. There are going to be downloads that you'll have for your computer there that are going to come in as part of the member area, and that's going to be wonderful to follow. They also are initiating in just a couple of weeks, which you'll be able to follow from the website, the Indiegogo campaign for that. And what's very interesting is because this is such an epic level event, there have been people that have come together to volunteer their time on this. Much of the money from this event is going to organizations and to charities. So it's going and giving you an experience, but then it's going back out and it's helping numerous other people in the process. So definitely check out what's happening. There's an amazing team of people working on this. We're talking orchestra-level music. We're talking large museum-quality murals involved in this. We're talking like 10 feet tall by 20 to 25 feet wide, curved around. It's an incredible project that's going to keep going even far, far beyond what they've already started. And we did have Thomas on our show talking about that earlier, so definitely if you missed any part of it, go back and listen to it, because he really has a lot to say about how he's integrating this identity of relating or using angels to help us relate to divinity in this process, and how this entire project is really about us integrating as humanity and being able to experience and to connect with the divine and get this total multisensory immersion experience there. So it's going to be amazing, and I hope you will go on, follow it, and pay attention to it as it goes through this entire development process and continues to keep growing from there. I do want to touch base just a little bit, because we did rearrange the show tonight here, and to bring in that this work so much focuses on my message of compassion, and it focuses on my emphasis that we've got to drop these judgments, we've got to let go, and it's so important to make that connection with the divine. It's so important to tune in to the compassion, because as we tune into that compassion, it definitely opens the messenger up in us. And the messenger's event is really about realizing that people can manifest their dreams, and that the messengers are not just a select group of people or archetypes or allegories, but it's a collective, and it's an integration of these different things, and that they will inspire us all to bring out the messenger within us. So it's about all of humanity. It's about universality, which was also discussed on the show with Sylvia. She was talking about that, which was on the show, Sylvia Brallier, who was on with Thomas as well. In my personal work, as many of you know, compassion is what I do, and I help people find and use compassion in their everyday lives. I bring it into everyday lives, and that's one of the things that Thomas is doing with this event as well, is to bring it into everyday life. I've authored 2 books so far, titled Activating Compassion and Activating Compassion, the Workbook. I'm in the process of, probably in about another month, having my next set of books released, which will be on relationships, and it uses principles of compassion at the foundation of developing those relationships, and where you can take them and bringing that divine spark into your relationships as well, because that's a very important part of succeeding and developing from there. Now, a lot of you know that I like to delve into every week the 72 names of God, and with the 72 names of God, I like to randomly open up, and we know this is by Yehuda Berg. If any of you have listened to the show before, you realize that Yehuda is a big part of just opening to that more stronger level of consciousness. It's about opening to that aspect of bringing things into everyday terms, everyday aspects, and I feel that that's such an important part. So what I like to do is to randomly open, because I feel like the best messages, or the most appropriate messages, I should say, to whatever we're working on, whatever we're discussing, just seem to come up. And it's just a matter of, I like to just kind of close my eyes, put my fingers in the book, and see where it comes to. And in doing this, over and over again, we just get that appropriate thing. And this is something that you'll find also on my website. I take the messages from each week's show. They go onto my website, which is at JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1, that's the number 1.com. And there's a whole section there for all of our Main Street Universe shows. And there's individual pages for each of our hosts there. So you can go in and see when their shows are, some of the shows that are upcoming. And you can also listen to all the archive shows there. Also on mainstreetuniverse.com, you can also find archived shows there as well. So there's a couple of different places that you'll be able to find them. And I put up Yehuda's message. Whatever my message is for the week is typed out on the website there, so you can actually read it for yourself, and you can actually see the name of God on there. Now, the message that I have coming in this week and that I've opened to, which, as I said, is always appropriate, and it definitely is tonight as well, and that is appreciation. Now, when we look at this, his initial message on this is, do you find that you appreciate things only after they're gone? Do you look back over parts of your life wishing you had valued and cherished the things that no longer are there? And then he gives some insight on this. And the insight that he has is, here's a simple question. Do you have a desire not to have an excruciating toothache? Of course you do. Who in their right mind wants to experience a throbbing toothache? But a moment before this question was posed, were you at all aware of this desire? Of course not. And do you know why? It's because your desire not to have a toothache was completely fulfilled. Namely, you didn't have a toothache, so there was no need to be aware of your innate desire not to have one. If, on the other hand, you had an abscessed molar that was causing you much agony, you'd quickly become aware of your desire not to want to have a toothache. We have so many blessings in our lives that fulfill our existence, but we're not aware of these spiritual treasures because our fulfillment leads us to complacency. We take important things for granted. Consequently, we must lose something in order to awaken our desire for it. Remember, the light wants to give us everything, but we must have a desire for it. When we experience the pain of losing something dear to our hearts, a desire is awakened within us. But there is a far better way to activate all our desires for light without having to lose something. It is called appreciation. When we truly appreciate everything, we feel like we have it all. And that's when we are allowed to really have it all. Now, what's really interesting that I love in this concept and that he's talking about here, and it really applies to what we were discussing and some of the themes behind the Messenger's event, is that in this awareness, we come in and we lose this connection, we lose this awareness, and we don't even know that we've lost it. But we start realizing that we have this desire. We become aware as we start to develop, as we start to grow, that we have a desire to be connected with divine presence. We have a desire to experience spirit, to understand and to know. Now, for example, with the Messengers event, Thomas is bringing that out through the art, through the music, through archetypes, through allegories. So it's coming out in a lot of different ways, and this helps to connect us with that spirit. And as we start to connect with it, we realize that we have more and more of a desire for it. We know that this is something that we want to bring more of into our life. And I think that's an important concept to kind of think about, that when we're born into life and we're brought into a human form, there really is enough pain involved in that process to make us realize that we have a desire for something else, and that something else being the ability to unify and to connect with divine presence, with the rest of humanity, with that peace that connects all of us. And that's where we've talked about in previous shows. You can go back and listen in the archives to Dr. Robert Newton that was talking about some of the aspects with theta healing and how that's actually coded into the DNA of our system. Also, last week, Dr. Margaret Rogers Van Coops was also talking about this coding within the soul, and you can listen to her show in the archive, and how these things are actually encoded with us from birth. So what's exciting is that even though we go through this pain in life, we also are aware enough to realize what we really desire, and what we really desire is not that pain, it's not that hurt, it's not that darkness. It's that divine inspiration, it's that divine experience that we're searching for, I should say, that we're desiring to be in touch with. So I think that that's an exciting piece to pull together for us. Now, the meditation that Yehuda provides with this is appreciation, thankfulness, gratitude. These are noble attributes, or these noble attributes are aroused by this name. It's infused with these attributes. You retain and enjoy all the blessings and treasures in your life. And to think and to imagine, with all the struggles that we go through and all the things that we go through and we feel challenged by, and I know a lot of people have felt like they've been in stagnation lately and they've been frustrated, that really all we need to do is appreciate what we have, what we do have giving to us, what is available to us, because from that appreciation we can immediately connect with that divine presence, which then will open the doors, get us out of stagnation, get us out of frustration, and get us moving again, and getting us manifesting dreams like Thomas is manifesting with the Messenger's event. And it affects a lot of people, and it gives to a lot of people. Now, the way that this name is pronounced, in order to bring in appreciation, thought, thankfulness, and gratitude, is the name is Ayin Nun Vav. Okay, it's Ayin Nun Vav. And again, you can get this. It's going to be put up on my website, available where you'll be able to read it and enjoy it there. And that is a big thing. So we've really had a lot of great information tonight. We've been exposed to an amazing experience that's unfolding into all over our world, that is going to be global, and it's going to involve people everywhere and continue to branch and give us this experience, and this multi-sensory experience, I should say. I just want to touch on a few other things here. We do have several shows here on Main Street Universe, and I encourage you to check out some of those other shows as well that we have here. For example, we start off our week, we have Darren Bouquet, who is on with his Spiritual Insight show, and Darren is doing readings. He works at Madame Leve's in New Orleans. Absolutely gifted. He's absolutely wonderful. If you're in one of those stuck spots and you need somebody to help you get some information, call into a show. Check out a show. It is on Sunday nights. And then on Monday nights, we have Kevin Barrett. He does what's called Walking on the Sidewalk. It's Horizon Oracle Journeys, and that is absolutely a very unique deck that he works with. It's actually a deck that he created himself, the Horizon Oracle Journeys, and it's very unique. I find that this was designed with the everyday person in mind, and it was designed in a way that we can easily understand the concepts that are going on that he's talking about. So Kevin has some wonderful principles there. He also has had some amazing guests on his show from time to time. For example, recently he had Diane Arkenstone on the show, and if you missed that show, I highly suggest you go back and listen to that in the archives as well. Absolutely beautiful voice, beautiful music there. And then on Tuesday nights, we have Mary Phelan on, and Mary does a beautiful show, sometimes has guests on, sometimes does readings. Her style is also completely unique in what she's doing and what she's working on. So if you haven't had a chance to check her work out, I suggest doing that. Of course, our flagship show is on Wednesday nights, and I'm actually going to be co-hosting this upcoming Wednesday with Janice Weiss, who was our female hostess for the flagship show. And we are going to be doing a two-part segment that's actually going to be talking about hair. And that probably sounds a little silly and a little funny in there, but we're going to be delving into natural remedies for hair. We have a guest that will be coming on with that show as well, and she operates a green hair salon, or it's called the Green Hair Company, and her name is Mimi. She's going to be sharing with us Grandma's Secrets, which is some home remedies that she offers, as well as talking with us about different ways that she deals with hair in a green and vegan way. So that's going to be a very interesting show. And then we're going to follow that up. The second part of the series of that is going to be on the magical and the spiritual properties of hair and how that has played a role in things like allegories and stories and fairy tales that we've had along the way, and really what is the spiritual attributes of having hair, long hair, bald hair, whatever those different dimensions are. So it's going to actually be some really fun shows to tune into on that. And then, of course, there's my show on Friday nights, Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, and that's here every Friday. I've got a huge amount of guests lined up. I mean, we have got, I'm so blessed. I can't even imagine. I'm so blessed. Next week, we've got Tina Irwin on, and she was on a few months ago on the show. She was part of the evolution or the development process that I did at the end of the year there. She's going to be coming back, but she's going to be discussing a whole different area. She's going to be talking about karma, and she puts out a book that's called The Light Worker's Guide to Everyday Karma. So we're going to be discussing how karma works, how it plays into our life, how it happens in our life, and how we deal with it. I'm also following that show up with Marla Gates. She's coming on doing talking about organic living, spring cleaning using all green products, and doing green gardening. Stephen Halpern, I think a lot of you may have heard that. He's very top in the New Age industry. He's been putting out music for 38 years already. He has been a Grammy nominee, and he's coming on to share his work with brainwave activities because his music is all designed around the brainwave activity. I so happy to have Stephen coming on. I can't even tell you. It's as big as and exciting as the Messengers event, really, for me, because Stephen's work is some work that I picked up very early on in my process. His music was an inspiration to me when I started on my path over 30 years ago and became actively open with things, and I was using his work for meditation. And then I had the opportunity many years after I started on my path, and it's been, it was about 17, 18 years ago, I had a shop in the central coast of California, and it was called the Sacred Grove. It was a fun little shop there in a quaint little town, and I was headed off to do a trade show that was in Denver, and I met Stephen at that trade show in Denver, and now a few weeks ago I got a contact, and he came through and he said, I'd really like to be on your show, and so we coordinated this date. So he's coming up on April 12th. Definitely a show you want to be here for. You want to listen to his music. We're going to be playing some clips from his music, some tracks from what he does, and seeing how his music affects the different brainwave patterns, because he deals with the alphas and the thetas and the betas and everything. It's really, really amazing work. It's really powerful music. And again, I'm feeling very blessed because I'm coming full circle from the starting point that I had early on in my life to now bringing it back to sharing it with all of you, some of which are starting, some of which have been on your path for a while. So I'm feeling very, very blessed to have him on. And then we continue to have, like I said, incredible guests following from there that include Dr. Neil Coburn, who's going to be talking about emotional well-being and embracing the gift of life. Danielle Huff is going to be coming on. Richard Harvey, who does some amazing work blending the areas of psychology and spirituality. Francois Netter is coming on, and she does healing through dance movement and creating psychological shifts. Deborah Taylor, which does healing work in nature. Suzanne Robbins, Jill Mapson, and she's going to be dealing with number patterns in music, which is a totally different thing. I don't think a lot of us have experienced that, and what she does is through her music and her patterns in music, it creates different numbers that are associated with different cultures, and her music is focused on bringing back ancient civilizations, beliefs, and practices. So that's, lots and lots of fascinating shows here. Sarah Toe is going to be coming on with Your True Colors. Adam Hall, the Earthkeeper Alliance, is coming through. Dorothy Nettermeyer. So it just goes on and on. I've got amazing guests. Stephen Cuoco, who is currently out at Fashion Week in Palm Springs having a huge load of fun, out there interviewing Project Runway stars and working with the TV stars from some of the Food Networks and just having an absolute blast doing all of his work out there. So it's just going to come at you week after week, and I hope you'll just keep joining me and growing and sharing these shows with the people that you know, sharing them through your social media. And if you've enjoyed the show tonight, make sure you share it. Share it with those Facebook friends. Let your family and people know what's going on here, because we're doing a lot of growing. We're bringing in a lot of great concepts, and there's so much to gather. I also want to highlight that I am working on that 2013 Compassion Tour. I have not set up the final stops yet, but I do plan to be doing some events in California, and those will be around the end of May, early June. So look for those opportunities to come up where you can register for those events, and it's going to be set up in ways that are going to be very feasible, where you'll have lots of opportunities to participate in the different areas that are important to you, whether that's relationships, learning more about compassion, dealing with finances in your life, health in your life. So lots of opportunities there as well. And you can actually follow the events that are going on the tour at www.eventbrite.com. Or I'm sorry, actually it's Jesse. You can actually go to my website. How's that? You can go to my website and follow it, which is Jesse and Nichols George 1, the number 1.com, and you can follow my blog from there. You can sign up for my mailing list on there. You can watch upcoming videos. I'm putting out one little video clip a month minimum now that will have little tips on it about different things, 4 keys to getting motivated, for example, things like that. But you can also follow the tour at jessieannnicholsgeorge.eventbrite.com. So that's another way to follow the tour for you as well. And then my book is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com for paperbacks. It's available through Smashwords as an ebook, and that includes Kindle versions, PDF versions, whatever your reader type is. Basically, Smashwords has it. And what's really cool is you can pay for that one little ebook version on there, and then it will you can download it in multiple formats. So you could download it as Kindle and PDF and whatever else. So you have multiple options there, which is really wonderful. And this month, for the rest of the month of March, and you can take advantage of this also on my website, whether you're listening live or in the archives, it doesn't matter. I'm offering 50% off of 1-hour coaching sessions, and you just go in, and that's got an option right there on the home page where you can click on that and take advantage of that as well. So that's a great thing. And again, the archives are there on the website, jessieannnicholsgeorge, the number 1.com. So many things happening, so many options coming around for you, and I just have to say this has been an amazing, amazing evening. I want to say thank you so much. My name is Jessie Ann Nichols George. I really appreciate you being here tonight. And to put that in Yehuda's words, Ayan Nuvav, for being here tonight. And I look forward to seeing you back here next week as we delve more into activating compassion. Don't forget, it's Tina Irwin on next week, and we're going to be talking about karma. And if you've enjoyed the show, remember to share it with other people. It's available at this very same link in the archives for you. And I'm going to leave you tonight with a song that's called Yearning For. It's also known as Over and Over by Shimshai. And Shimshai, of course, is a group that I met in the Sedona, Arizona area when I was doing some work down there. And they're traveling worldwide now. They were very kind to share their music, allowed me to use it on the show here for Activating Compassion. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you back here again next week, right here on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. May you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have an amazing week.
And if I could see what makes me blind, I would soar to the edge of my mind and to touch what seems unreal, just to show you the way that I feel. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune, caught in a balance of sun and moon. Oh, deep inside, the light within, shining to show you it's here to begin. When all I have is all I need, I will soar to the edge of eternity. And we see it eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine. And we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. Over and over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets, I bet you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we reveal it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart is still yearning for. Yearning for. When all we have is all we need, all that we ask for shall be received. And we see it eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine. And we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune of life in the circle and love in bloom. Over and over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart is still yearning for over and over. Life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower. Whispering secrets, I bet you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we repeat it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit.